This is the intro.
Hey, Google Mall's here. Oh, okay.
Here we go.
All right.
All right. Let's. Let's start out with our tips.
Okay.
So you grew up in Florida.
Yes.
I lived in Florida, so we're kind of like Disney experts, pretty much.
You could say that.
Yeah. So my first tip, I'll start, is this may be unpopular, but I think going when your kids should be in school is probably the best time to go. So the slowest time of year for Disney is September. So right after Labor Day, obviously everyone's back at school. It's obviously your decision as a parent, but I think you should take them then. Just take a week. You can actually make Disney educational. There's the Hall of Presidents at Magic Kingdom. Who is calling
Lori.
you?
Lala. I'm on film.
Should we answer that? Oh, Lala.
Oh, hey, actually, I did answer. Hold on. Pause. Hi, Mom.
Okay, Lala is off the phone now.
Lala's off the phone.
So
Lala lives in Florida.
yes. So she should have chimed in.
I know.
So anyway, so if you can swing it when your kids are supposed to be in school, again, that's obviously your decision as a parent. I would do that. If you have to pick a time where they're off of school, what would you say?
That's tough because you also have to take into consideration Run Disney's schedule, because we made the mistake of going the week after Marathon Week. So it was still a little bit busy because people did extend their vacations, especially ones that came in from out of the country. Speaking from an almost Disney princess runner, it is a very busy time to go. So I would say avoid first week of January, last week of February. I think there's a couple in March and May. But I would say September is definitely a good time. Obviously, avoid any major holidays.
Yeah.
Christmas is insane, so is Thanksgiving.
I would say Halloween though. Like if you have time in October, it's always fun.
They do offer Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween. That's really cool for kids too.
Yes, and then summer though, I would say try to avoid summer, only because it's so hot.
And it's hurricane season.
Yes.
We went last year. My sister flew in, and her and her husband and their kids came, and we got poured on for the first 3 hours and then decided to call it quits after hour 4 because we couldn't get on into any line. The stroller was soaking wet, everything was pouring down rain, and it was gross. So I would say definitely be cautious when you go in the summer because hurricanes love Florida.
And it's hot.
Hot.
So just either way, it's not fun. So if you have to go, I'd say aim for spring break because I think holidays are busier than spring break. Now, people always talk about those lightning lanes and Genie Plus. I don't find it worth it.
It's so expensive. And we were in a couple, when you guys had gone back to the hotel room, there were a few lines that were just as long as the regular standby lines.
Yep.
So I would be really upset if I spent, because I want to say it's over $100 per person per day.
Yep. So I would say just if you go during a slower time of year, so September, for example, your lines won't be that bad. We went in early February of 2022. And I don't think we waited in line more than 30 minutes for anything. So that might be a good time to go as well.
It definitely, I was going to say, and this one wasn't terrible.
Not bad, yeah. But it was, I was actually surprised at how busy it was for mid-January. We went January, 10th to the 14th.
But the race weekend ended the 7th.
Yeah.
So I think, or 6th
we
or
did have
whatever.
some
So
extra people.
there were a few extras, but I was surprised at how busy it was too.
Yeah. So that's tip number 1. So tip number 2, what you got?
Hotels. I would say if you can swing it financially, stay on property. There are some really good, cost-efficient hotels. We had stayed at the Art of Animation, and I want to say it was just over $400, but it was split between 3 families because it was a 2-bedroom. So you had 2 full bedrooms, a living room that had 2 fold-out beds, 2 full bathrooms, and a kitchen, which makes it nice because if you have young children or kids that eat like our kids do, having a kitchen is very nice.
Yes, you need the snacks, and that goes into another tip too. Bring snacks. You can actually bring your own snacks into the park. So do that. I mean,
and water bottles.
Yes,
Bring your
and
own
water.
water bottles.
Yes.
It saves you a ton of money.
Absolutely. Yep. So obviously you might want to get a few Disney snacks. It's fun. It's cool. I am guilty of buying the $20 popcorn.
Yep.
Holder. But
$30 Mickey heads.
yes. But bring your own snacks, which will save you a lot, and kids just constantly want something.
Uncrustables are the way to go because
Yep.
you can put them in frozen and they thaw out. The kids eat them because honestly, if you're gonna eat at Disney, I would say don't eat at the normal lunch times. Either eat earlier or wait until everyone's already eaten because then the lines aren't. And quick queues are your best friend. You can actually go on the
Mobile
app
order, yeah.
and mobile order them, pick it up, and then you don't have to stand in line with all of your children.
Yes, do that. I would say aim for lunch probably by 11 because after that it starts picking up, or probably like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
But kind of that 11:30 to 12:30-ish is going to be your busiest time. Everyone's going to be cranky and crying and wanting food, so try to get before or after. But yeah, definitely staying on property. It is a little more expensive, but it makes your life so much easier. And it also can help where, especially if you have younger kids, so my youngest is 9 months old, we went back in the middle of the day and let him nap. But it's so nice for all the kids because they can just rest, watch a show, whatever, for an hour or two. And that really helps because you get back to the park at like 4 or 5 o'clock and you see all the kids melting down. But your kids are good because they took a nap.
Yeah, our kids slept. So ours are 6 and 3, and they are a little bit older, so they were able to sleep in the double stroller, and we just walked them around because Disney fan here. So once we're in the park, I don't leave the park, and they did. But again, with little ones, it definitely is nice. And there's multiple different like transportations. You have the monorail that goes to 3 of the
Goes
hotels.
to Grand Floridian, Polynesian, and Contemporary.
Yeah, and then you also have the buses that go to most of, I think all of,
them, yep.
and then the boat that runs from a few of them, and then the Skyliner.
Yes,
So
so there's definitely different options, but I would definitely recommend if you can take a break if your kids are super young. That extra nap in the middle of the day will be a lifesaver for you.
because they're usually open until at least 11 o'clock anyway, so you can go back in. And honestly, after the fireworks, you guys stayed. We ended up taking the kids back, but they stayed.
I stayed with my oldest, who it was her 6th birthday when we were there. So after the fireworks started at 8:15.
They were
got
done by
probably like 8:45.
8:45-ish.
So I asked her if she wanted to stay. So her and I stayed for probably another hour, and we were on the rides in 5 minutes. I mean, the lines were so short. Granted, we did do the smaller kid rides. Like, she didn't want to do any of the big roller coasters, but it was very quick to get on there. So not crazy lines.
So yeah, if you can nap them in the afternoon, stay after until closing, that's honestly going to be your best bet.
Yep. And then I'd say our last tip is...
Rent.
What?
Rent a stroller.
Yes. Our last tip would definitely be rent a stroller. It just makes it easier. I think no matter how you're traveling, we drove, and it just obviously less space in the trunk. You can rent a double stroller. I believe it's $30 per day, and it just makes your life easier. You don't have to worry about carrying it back and forth. This particular trip, we did not follow my own tip. We did bring a single stroller just for my youngest, and it was fine, but I think next time I would rent the double stroller.
We brought our double stroller, and next time I will, because it's easier. You give it back. You don't have to worry about it getting dirty. You don't have to worry about bringing your own, lugging it around, folding it up, because the thing is, especially with double strollers, when you go on the bus and go on the Disney transportation, you have to fold it down. And as you all know, when your kids have a million toys and cups and food, you get to carry everything and almost fall over on the Disney bus. So
Definitely. So let's talk about our must-dos, and then we'll tell you what you can probably skip, in our opinion. So my personal must-do are the fireworks at Magic Kingdom. I cry every time I watch them, but I love them. Get your spot early. So I will be honest, this past time, we got to our spot that we usually stand in around 7, and it was already crammed with people.
We couldn't even get to them. They were already roped it off, and they shoved us in a corner.
Yep. So you probably want at least an hour to find a good spot, sit there. One person from your group can go run and grab Starbucks from Main Street on Magic Kingdom, but just get your spot. Gorgeous, amazing fireworks. And that's really for any of them. I know Epcot has good fireworks. Hollywood Studios has a great show too. But Magic Kingdom fireworks is 100%.
The only ones we see.
Yeah. Can you stop coughing?
I know.
In the video.
It's not COVID, I swear. It's shout out to Meredith from Burn Boot Camp who kicked my butt this morning, which is why I look like this.
But yeah, so I would say Magic Kingdom fireworks, and it's kind of slow, but I love the people mover.
Yes.
I just think it's a relaxing ride. You can fit all the kids on it, And it just, when it's hot, when you're tired, you just go sit down, loops you around.
Or the Carousel of Progress.
Yeah.
We went on that one, which actually, believe it or not, my 6-year-old really enjoyed. He thought it was very cool. He thought it was pretend. And I was like, this is actually how people used to live. But no, so I would say those are really good kind of cool down. The lines aren't usually terribly
they usually
long.
keep moving. And then obviously if your kids are older, you got to do like the big ones like Splash Mountain. I feel like that's the best first ride to introduce them to.
My baby did Space Mountain for the first time with my husband.
Yeah,
So
Space Mountain, all the mountains, right?
Yes.
Mountain, Splash Mountain, Space Mountain. I have yet to go on Snow White's The Seven Dwarf Mine
we
Train.
haven't either.
I want to try that, but my kids are a little young, so I haven't done it yet. But yeah, all the mountains and definitely do the fireworks would be my must-dos. Hollywood Studios, if your kids will do it, Tower of Terror. It's like the Disney ride that you have to do if you're over in Hollywood. Also, Toy Story, Slinky's, what is it, Slinky Dog Race?
Slinky Dog Race, I think.
That roller coaster's good.
Buzz Lightyear has another one.
Yeah, there's like a shooting game.
Just
type
make
thing.
sure you look at the height requirements before, because my little 3-year-old's a daredevil and he just was a little too short for all of them. So Hollywood Studios was a bust for us this time, only because Logan couldn't go on anything.
Yep, and I think that leads us to what you can skip. So my kids are 6, 3, and 9 months. Yours are 6 and 3. I would honestly say if your kids are around those ages, those ages, I would honestly skip Epcot. Like if you are planning a trip and you have limited time or you just aren't sure which parks to go to, if you have younger kids, I would say 100% Magic Kingdom is going to have the most to do.
Yeah.
Second, I think it's tied between Animal Kingdom and Hollywood. Hollywood's rides, maybe for a little bit older kids. Animal Kingdom honestly doesn't have a ton of rides, but your kids may enjoy the animals there.
It is really cool.
Yeah,
and there's more shows. They do
Right.
some shows and stuff that I think keep the kids
safari.
entertained. Yeah.
So I think a younger child may enjoy Animal Kingdom more if you had to pick between Magic Kingdom and another park, but honestly, Epcot, I think that's
Save
really,
it for an adult-only trip.
Yeah, honestly, that, or if your kids are like 10 or older,
Yeah.
because half of Epcot are the countries around the world.
Right.
And to be honest, most kids, some might be, but I think most kids are like, there's no rides. What am I doing here? So
I think they have Ratatouille and
the Frozen.
But
Right.
other than that, we went last time. We skipped it this trip. Last time we went, and it was fun for us adults, but the kids were very unentertained and unimpressed by any of the
So definitely
stuff.
Magic Kingdom. If you're like, I'm going to Disney and I have to pick one park,
Magic Kingdom.
100%. If you have time for two, either, depending on your child's interest, Animal Kingdom or Hollywood Studios would be good. But Epcot, definitely adults or
Yes.
older kids would be our tips.
Yes.
So I think that's what we
I
got.
think that's it.
Yeah, well, if you have any questions about Disney or comments, let us know in the comments. And we would love to hear your feedback too. And hopefully this helps if you're planning a trip. We have a wonderful, wonderful travel agent friend, Angela, with Travels of Distinction. She would be awesome at helping you plan your trip if you're like, where do I start? So we will also link her info in the comments as well. All right.
All
See you
right.
guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. We went to Disney.
We need. Okay, start over. So this past week, we went to Disney.
With 5 kids. Wait, I had to count. I was like,
And 2 husbands.
and 2 husbands. But we are alive.
And back in North Carolina.
We made it.
With the best tips and tricks that we can offer.
And our must-dos. All right, let's go.
Tip number 1.
Can we get a blooper reel?
Oh my God.
Okay.